Can you speak to that collective frustration that some may have been feeling, and whether or not you think it's something that's being overcome as you all thrive and move forward and continue to promote and uplift this league?
You know, it's so crazy to me because I'm asked so many times if I'm resentful in any type of way for where the WNBA is right now. My job was to leave the game better than I came into it.
They picked the wrong player to mess with, and Candace Parker just reminded everyone why. On national TV, in front of millions, a three-time WNBA champion basically grabbed the mic and said, "Sit down and shut up," to every bitter critic who's been coming for Caitlin Clark since day one. But here's where things take a turn. She didn't just defend Clark. She called out the entire WNBA culture that's been throwing elbows at the league's biggest star while pretending it's all just competitive spirit.
You know, I think that rivalry is super important. I think conversation is super important. You know, I tuned in when Kevin Durant went back and played Russell Westbrook, and they bumped shoulders and everybody was tuned in. But I want to keep it within the lines of the game. And I think that's what's the most important.
And the timing? Perfect. Because this week alone, Caitlin Clark got shoulder-checked into a highlight reel, disrespected in pressers, and roasted online by people who still think traveling means getting on a plane. Meanwhile, the league? Dead silent. No statements, no action, just a big ol' shrug. That's when Candace Parker decided to do what the commissioner should have done weeks ago. Tell the truth. She looked into the camera and straight up said it. The jealousy in the WNBA is real, and it's destroying the league from the inside out. And just when you thought it couldn't get more awkward, somebody actually asked Candace Parker, one of the most accomplished athletes in women's basketball history, if she was jealous of Caitlin Clark.
You think Cheryl Miller is resentful for me that I had a league to play in? No, she's being the mentor that she is, and she's supporting and loving and sitting courtside cheering on Juju Watkins. And I'm doing the same for Caitlin Clark and all the women in the WNBA.
You might as well ask Shaq if he's jealous of a high school JV center. Parker didn't just laugh it off. She explained that her job, like every other legend who paved the way, was to leave the game better than she found it. She praised Cheryl Miller for supporting her generation. Now she's doing the same for Caitlin. No bitterness, no politics, just facts. And that right there, that's what humiliation looks like. Not some shouty tweet, not a subtweet with 12 emojis, but a legendary baller standing 10 toes down, publicly slapping the nonsense off Clark's critics with straight logic. So what's the fallout? Let's just say the WNBA haters haven't recovered. Because when Candace Parker speaks, you listen. And when she defends Caitlin Clark, it's game over for all the nonsense. Let's be real. Caitlin Clark is the entire reason half the people watching the WNBA even know when the games are on. She's selling out arenas like it's the NBA Finals.
Outside of LeBron and Steph, she is the most well-known basketball player currently playing in the United States.
Oh, yes. And I don't think that's close. She is demonstrably and inarguably more famous than all of this generation's NBA stars. She just is. Like, it really...
Yeah.
She's getting 3 million people to watch regular season games on cable. If this was the NBA, she'd already have her own signature shoe, Gatorade deal, and maybe a Space Jam sequel. And guess what? It'd actually be good. But here's the real twist. Instead of celebrating her, too many people inside the WNBA are acting like she's a problem. Like she's taking up too much space on the court and in the spotlight. Meanwhile, the numbers are screaming the truth louder than a courtside Jack Nicholson at a Lakers game. Her preseason game against Brazil, yes, preseason, pulled 1.3 million viewers. Opening night against the Chicago Sky, 2.7 million. Then she faced the New York Liberty and hit a peak of 3.3 million viewers. Those aren't good numbers. Those are absurd numbers. That's Super Bowl commercial money in WNBA terms. And yet somehow, the hate just got louder. Instead of being embraced like Steph Curry in 2015, Clark is being treated like she broke into the league without permission. She gets body-checked, blindsided, cursed at, and still keeps pulling in record crowds and staying silent. If this was the NBA and someone leveled Luka Doncic with a cheap shot, you'd have 4 flagrant fouls and Stephen A. Smith foaming at the mouth before halftime. But with Caitlyn, it's radio silence, and it gets worse. Some people are trying to spin this as Clark getting special treatment. You know? Because ratings, millions of new fans, and single-handedly dragging an entire franchise out of irrelevance is just so offensive.
They just can't. They just can't not even wrap their head around. They can't just accept, okay, this person is more popular than me, or this person is more popular than the player that we want to push.
Let's pause and think about that. If you built a team that was worth less than a Popeyes franchise and a player in her rookie season made it $1 billion conversation, you'd probably say thank you. Unless, of course, you're in the WNBA, where common sense takes a backseat to bad vibes. So yes, when Candace Parker spoke up, it wasn't just about respect, it was about reality. This league is now the Caitlyn Clark League, and the sooner people get over it, the better off everyone will be.
She is a supernova fame, a level of fame with one-of-a-kind talent, and it is game-changing for the entire league.
The craziest part? It's not just players throwing elbows. It's the leadership at the top fumbling everything. Let's talk about Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, the one person who should be screaming Caitlyn Clark's name from the rooftops. Instead, she's been more silent than Ben Simmons in the fourth quarter. Now here's where things get messy. When the league exploded with viewership, sold-out games, and the highest ticket demand in years, did Engelbert go on TV and say, "Yes, Caitlyn Clark is the reason we're blowing up"? Nope. She wrote a whole piece for the Harvard Business Review, patting the WNBA on the back for years of preparation and acting like the sudden explosion in popularity was just a coincidence.
To new followers and outside observers, our organization's success might seem overnight and even lucky, prepared by a singularly exceptional group of college players coming into the WNBA. However, we could not have capitalized on those advantages without years of hard work and preparation. Years of hard work and preparation. It might have seemed like it came overnight. Folks, look at the WNBA Finals from 1997 to 2023. Started off hot, fell off a cliff until this most past season in the WNBA Finals, 2024. She takes credit for it. Instead of saying it's because of Caitlyn Clark, instead of saying it's because of the person from Iowa, instead of saying it was because of her, Cathy says, oh, it's all me. My strategy, my plan, my 3 pillars. In this entire article, Cathy Engelbert mentions Caitlyn Clark's name 2, maybe 3 times. Angel Reese's name once. Cameron Brink's name once.
She lumped Clark, Angel Reese, and Cameron Brink together like they were all drawing the same numbers, when we all know Clark's games alone averaged 1.2 million viewers. And that's not just sneaky, it's disrespectful. Imagine Adam Silver watching LeBron drop 50 points, then thanking the entire league for team effort. It's absurd. But that's what Engelbert did. Instead of embracing Clark's cultural moment and turning it into a permanent marketing weapon, the league is spreading the credit around like it's a group project. Spoiler alert, not everyone studied. And you know who noticed? Everyone. Especially legends like Lisa Leslie and Candace Parker.
I'm not going to act like it's something that we don't see. She's had a huge effect, called the Caitlyn Clark effect. Yes, have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlyn Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television games? I think we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else. And I think Caitlyn has said that even herself in certain interviews. And I love that. I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. It's not. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her,
who built this league brick by brick and can spot phony behavior from a mile away. But let's really zoom in. Cathy Engelbert's silence during the worst moments of Clark's season speaks louder than anything she wrote. She didn't stand up when Clark got heckled by grown adults. She didn't issue a statement when players made contact that would have gotten a flagrant foul in the NBA. she was too busy drafting an article about how she made the WNBA more successful. At this point, the question isn't whether Engelbert is doing her job, it's whether she even knows what her job is. You'd think with all the chaos surrounding Caitlin Clark, the WNBA would step in and clean things up. But no, the only thing being swept is accountability. Right under the rug. Let's look at what's really going on. Because here's where things get disturbing. Clark has been the target of relentless harassment, both on and off the court. From physical plays that somehow never result in flagrant fouls, to fans online accusing her of everything under the sun, including the bizarre claim that she used her assistant coach's baby for publicity.
This is Caitlin Clark, and she is carrying in a mixed-race baby, a biracial baby, all right, into an arena, into the arena right here. I mean,
He's like, what?
this is one of the most wholesome, benign things you would ever see. Caitlin Clark is getting some of the grossest, most morbid comments, racist, hateful. We're talking the cup runneth over with hate. Here, Kathy Engelbert, you're no space for hate. Where are you right now? All right? I mean, seriously.
Yes, a baby. That's where the discourse has gone. Instead of talking about her passing vision, her three-point range, or her ability to sell out arenas, some people are out here spinning wild stories that wouldn't make it past a Reddit moderator. Now here's the part that should concern everybody. The WNBA has built its brand on standing for equality, inclusion, and protecting its players. But when it came time to show that with action, crickets. When Clark faced real harassment online, silence. When she took hard fouls that clearly crossed the line, silence. When she was the subject of conspiracy-level nonsense, still silence. Meanwhile, guess what they did jump on? Right after Clark's debut game, the most watched regular season game in 25 years, the league launched an official investigation into alleged hate speech coming from fans based on a vague internet clip that turned out to be completely baseless. The incident never happened, but the league responded to that faster than they've responded to anything else this season. Let that sink in. They went all in on an internet rumor, but when Clark is shoved, cursed at, or publicly attacked online, it's suddenly not worth a response. So what's the message here? It sure feels like Clark is being treated as a marketing tool when convenient, and ignored when things get uncomfortable. That's not just bad optics, that's a leadership problem. And again, it's not Clark demanding the spotlight. She hasn't called out the league once. She hasn't even fired back at the players giving her cheap shots. She just keeps showing up, playing hard, and pulling in numbers that are making the WNBA relevant in ways it's never been before. The league should be protecting her. Instead, they're leaving her to fend for herself. If you're enjoying this and want more stories that cut through the noise, please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel. Thank you.